Welcome, everybody. Guess what's going down? Little Trisbrina love. Little Trisbrina show.
It is Thursday, April 16th, 2020. We are in lockdown in the house with you.
Smackdown in the house. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the one thing you can be doing before bedtime to really put you into a state of ease and rest and flow so you can have the best night's sleep. Something so important. We've been talking a lot about immune system lately, keeping that immune system healthy, and you got to get enough Z's into your life.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Good Hearing. Yeah, so it is really of utmost importance not to just get sleep, but to get good quality sleep where you're recharging. Why? Well, sleep, just like our phone, right? At night, oh look, it's me showing me.
You showing you.
To me, and I see me there. It's just all about me all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
When you plug your phone in at night, right? It needs to recharge. Why? You've drained it. You've drained the power out.
Yep.
And while it's recharging, it needs really strong power, right? If you plug the phone in just halfway, it's not going to be able to do it. It's not going to be able to get the updates. And there's been lots of studies, not just since all of this is happening in the world, but how important it is for good quality sleep. Now that doesn't mean, oh, I slept 12 hours. That doesn't mean that was good quality. It's the quality of sleep that allows your body to go into like a healing cascade and say, oh, great. I don't have to digest any food right now. That's why it's good not to eat right before you go to bed. There's no food to digest. I can just fix everything that's wrong. I can make human growth hormone. I can do everything anti-aging. I can boost the immune system. And that's really what we need right now. Because it's like sleep is the body's way of getting stronger.
Recharge.
Yeah, I'm sure like most people, when they're ill, we're tired. We say, oh, I'm tired. I want to sleep. That's the body's natural yearning to do that. And yet when we're so afraid and scared and worried, like so many of us are right now, we're either sleeping too much, sleeping at odd hours, not being able to sleep, worrying about money, worrying about sickness, worrying about family, worrying about the future, just worrying about everything.
I tell you, we did a survey recently to our whole community just asking them some of the challenges they feel that they're up against right now, and that they wanted, we asked, what would you like us to create? New programs, Trisbrina shows. And so thank you for taking a moment to answer those for us, because the feedback was really, really helpful. And the things that people are telling us is that they're really concerned that they're not doing enough to boost their immune system. Like, am I doing the right things? One of the other things people are saying is, I'm concerned because of the age group that I'm in, that I might be more susceptible to getting sick. Yeah. And other people are wondering, like, if I do get sick, will I be one of the ones who can bounce back? Have I done enough right now to protect myself and my family? And that's why we're bringing all of these trainings to you, because we want you to know you've got these warrior cells inside of you, and they're fighting for you if you keep them in tip-top fighting shape. And sleep is a big part of giving them what they need so they can do their job.
Yeah, I love that he just said these like warrior cells, because earlier today we were talking about it's as if we have these troops, like these like battlemen, these troops. And their job is, if an enemy comes, you protect us. Yep. But what if they're hungry, drained, tired, overworked, exhausted,
drink water.
Right? Then the enemy comes and they're just too out of it. They're in a fog. They're not ready to go. And so there are simple things that we can do to help them be nourished, to have energy, to get sleep, and to be ready to fight for us. And that's kind of what tonight's show's about.
It is. And we're going to be teaching you a couple of techniques probably. Sabrina's got something for you. I've got something for you. And as always, we're here to connect, to bond, to have fun, to feel that energy of community. We commune together. And as always, there will be probably some funniness that happens. Nah. Like if you were here earlier, and this part might not be in this particular recording, it was awfully rosy around here. And it turns out that with our camera, if you wear a light blue shirt, solid blue, you become so powerful that you can change the color of the camera.
Your aura, your rose
field
aura
can make everything
dominates
look
all.
Like rosy.
You have rosacea, and you give it to everyone.
You know, when I first met you, yeah, exactly. When I first met Sabrina, and we were out in California, I had a friend, and we were all like really into meditation and energy and all this cool stuff. And I had been living in Malibu, California, surfing and detailing cars as a kid, and doing my entrepreneurial thing, working on my martial arts, getting my black belt. And I just really dove into this path of energy and meditation. And so this one guy, he was super cool. He said, "Hey, let's go shopping because you need some new sunglasses. My glasses have been like cracked. They're really old." And
Would
he's
you
like,
get like Serengeti?
"How did you know?" I didn't think. So I wasn't at
because that was the brand back then.
That was the brand, right? So there was this
to wear with your Jordache.
I didn't have Jordache.
No.
I could have rocked some Jordache, but no, surfers didn't wear Jordache jeans. I know a few people who did. So we went to the mall and we go looking in like all the cool shades, and there was this pair of beautiful glasses, and they were rose-colored lenses. And I remember putting them on, and my whole world shifted. You know, when you put a pair of glasses on, everything's now like light blue or purple. This was the rose color. And I was like, this is cool. And then I looked at the price tag, and I'm like, put those back down. They were Serengetis. They were like, I don't know, a couple $100, $300, $400, $500, whatever it was. So anyway.
I just heard they were $189.
That's what you heard in your brain?
Mm-hmm.
Well, whatever. That was a lot of money for me back then. So
it is a lot of money.
This new friend and somebody who was trying to teach me to give myself a state of receiving, to put myself into a state of receiving and abundance consciousness. He said, no, let me buy those for you. And I'm like, no way. I wouldn't allow. He's like, you need to allow people to give you love, and I want to give you this gift.
You've gotten over that.
I've gotten over that. So thank you to that person all these years later that allowed me to see the world through rose-colored lenses. It's a good thing. And to be open to receive. Pretty funny. So let's talk about these warrior cells. So inside our bodies, we have this incredible system. There's different aspects to the immune system. Obviously, in the blood itself, we have all of these cells, these white blood cells, these T cells, these natural killer cells, and they move through our whole system. The thymus gland is a very important part of where certain cells mature. They become called T cells. They initially are created in the bone marrow. That's why something known as bone marrow washing from the energy art of Qigong is so effective. These ancient, wise martial art masters for like thousands of years knew how to extend life, how to stay young, healthy, vibrant. I don't know how they learned this stuff, but they knew, and they passed it down. And so we have these techniques and these tools today that we get to share with you guys, and you guys share them with others. They also help with the lymphatic system, which is like a cleaning system where it takes any impurities that are in the blood and it cleans them up. It pulls them through little ducts and nodes and gets rid of the broken stuff, the bad stuff, the viruses, the bacteria. Mm-hmm. So all these different things. Your spleen is a part of it. You want that whole system really thriving so that the cells that live inside that system, the fighter cells, have been fed, like you're saying.
Yeah. And it's so good to do something like this before you go to sleep so that your body is in like prime condition to heal and rejuvenate and rest. It sets the tone for your physical health, but also for your mental health and all the thoughts that are going to be going on while you're sleeping. And then again, like first thing in the morning, I know that's just such a crucial time for me to set the tone for my body's health, but mainly for my thoughts, to catch the runaway thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're running as soon as you get up. Like the rest of you still in bed, and you're like, those crazy thoughts are already up and out the door. You gotta get them back here.
Well, let's talk about that, because there's like 3 really big mistakes people are making right now with boosting their immune system. In fact, they're doing the opposite. They're weakening their immune system. One of them is, you just hit it right on the head, is the worry. The extra stress is dampening the immune system, and that, of course, affects our sleep. Now, Sabrina, she's no stranger to this one. I seem to be able to sleep through anything, but if Sabrina's got a runaway thought, tell the folks at home what happens to you.
Well, I think that one of the reasons that I've been so passionate since I was a little girl about studying personal development and thoughts and the power of thought is, can you set this on that table? Is because I could be prone to a lot of anxiety. I'm a very powerful thinker, when I'm a very powerful manifester. And so that's really awesome when my thoughts are in the direction that I want them to be. Unbelievable manifester. But that also goes for other things as well. So I really choose to keep on top of it and try to catch the thoughts. Now, how do you know that I'm having a thought that I don't want to have? It doesn't feel good. It doesn't make me happy. It makes me sad. It makes me worried. It makes me feel tension. I can't find a solution. I start looping, and it's almost like I feel crazy, because if I just start going like, oh, if it could be, I'll hear Winston cough. Oh my gosh, Winston has a heart murmur. What if something happens while we're in lockdown? How will I get him to the doctor? But what if it's Bentley? Bentley's even older. And what if something happens to him? And then, oh my gosh, what about my parents? They just can't go to the hospital if something happens. And are there other members in my family? And do I have enough money to pay for the health care if I need somebody to come to them instead of me going to them? And it'll just pile up, and it won't stop. One thought doesn't lead to a solution. One thought leads to another problem when you're in that spiraling. So the answer is not in finding a solution. And that's just been key, right? So that makes no sense to the logical mind, right? Well, if I just think about this, I'll figure it out. No, you won't. You can't figure out these what ifs. And then the more you think about it, if you believe in the power of prayer the way that I do, and the power of faith, and the power of thought, I realize that in this backdoor way, I'm praying for things that I do not want in my life. I'm giving energy to that which I don't want. So instead of holding health and happiness and abundance in the forefront of my consciousness, I'm holding all the negativity.
We're getting a lot of interesting feedback. A lot of interesting, amazing feedback that people can really relate to what you're saying. Melissa's saying, I can so relate to what you're saying, Sabrina. I get similar thoughts for sure.
Yeah.
Vera's feeling it. She's surrounded by people that are like sucking the energy, like vampires, out of her. That's why she does good morning, good evening, Qigong. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go, because as we're punching out the things that we don't want to do, we want to also give you solutions. Right. And what's cool about good morning, good evening Qigong is there's a framework. There's 3 things you do in the morning, but there's also 3 things you can do in the evening. And we're going to break those 3 things down for you and then show you some techniques that go with them. So the other one that shows up for me a lot is what's going in the mouth, right? Like not drinking enough water, like eating things that aren't great for us, those comfort foods, those numbing foods, putting things in that are so hard for the body to then process and clean out. And so the soldiers inside are now, you're putting their job into building barracks and cleaning out ditches. And meanwhile, their job is to fend off the bad guys. And you've got them doing all this extra work and they're exhausted. They're like, how can we possibly go to fight for you right now when you put us to work in cleaning all the toilets in the house and vacuuming and making the bed? And but seriously, like if we're putting that extra load on our system, it's not going to help. But if you feed the system, if you feed the warriors apples and vegetables and lots of water, and you're giving them high vibe foods, well, that's the third one.
Well, I hadn't finished with the thoughts, actually. I just had them in the dumps.
Okay, we're going to hold off on number 2. We're going back to mistake number 1.
So
runaway thoughts.
When you are in the dumps with those thoughts, what do you do? Well, you can't really stop thought. You can't. It's a farce. People say they can. you can get yourself to almost like a breathless state where there's so much space between your thoughts that it seems like thoughts are stopping. So your only choice is really to focus it on something that's healthy and something that's useful and something that's productive and something that can shift your energy. And that's how I use the principles of Qigong, the principles of meditation, the principles of positivity, is that I walk myself over there. It's like I'm in this room of negativity. Well, I can't just drop it. You can't just drop it, but let me take all that energy that I'm putting toward those thoughts and let me put them on squeezing and releasing. Let me put them on gratitude. Let me put them on things that are going to help me recharge and use that energy in a productive and loving way.
Can you do your squeezing and releasing technique right now? I love it.
Yeah, so sometimes, and I'd love to know in the chat if you guys feel this. If I have those runaway thoughts, it feels like angst in my body. It can almost feel like restless leg. Just can't get comfortable, tossing and turning. And the answer for me, I've never just been able to be like, oh, just let the body relax. Sometimes I have to tense it in order to relax it. Or it might feel like I used to think, I'm just going to get up and go to the bathroom and get back in bed. As a little girl, that's what I thought. I just moved, and somehow that movement did it. So sometimes I will tense, and so maybe you'll tense like a little squirrel, like just squeeze your butt, squeeze your legs, squeeze your feet. No, he wouldn't wake up. And you squeeze everything till it shakes, and then do a big like stretch and stretch your toes and stretch your fingers, and just do that a couple times. Because in contrast to that intense squeezing, you feel tension, the relaxation point sets. If I don't have space to do it because there's a dog here and a dog here and a husband there and a pillow there and a pillow there, I'll do it with whatever body parts I can. I find that super, super helpful to, even though my mind says, you're creating energy, but somehow then the relaxation goes deeper and it helps me shift my state.
Can we do it one more time?
Yeah.
And then you guys let us know. For me, it made me yawn, which is a sign that the body's relaxing and got more oxygen.
Yeah, I started sweating.
You did?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I thought it was just the air conditioning.
Yeah, we need somebody to see, don't we?
Okay, I'll follow you. You make the face and everything. Oh my goodness.
It's like in Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. There's the chipmunk and the.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of the things that we do. There's like 4 different postures that you put yourself into when you squeeze and relax, similar to this. And it's like a tourniquet effect. Tourniquet?
Tourniquet.
Tourniquet. Kobe, did I get that right? Tourniquet.
It's a tourniquet, man.
So it's a squeezing of the muscle around the energy channels. And then when you release the muscles, everything goes flowing, right? Flushes through.
You can also think of it like tightening of the joints so the blood can't flow. Blood can't, backing up creates a dam. Release, the blood flushes through. More force, more oxygen, gets rid of anything stagnant.
You might even shake a little when you're done. Exactly. And the energy channels open up in the same way. The energy flows, but it's also great for the lymphatic system because it helps open those gates inside the vessels of the lymphatic system that only movement can open. So that's a great technique. Awesome. I was kind of riffing. I kind of jumped in on you there with the food and the water. And look, I think it's a no-brainer. I think we all get that. But one thing I think we could all be doing probably more of, maybe it's just me, if you've got some water close by, have a swig.
Have a swig. Hey,
is so important. Most people, they're underhydrated. They're just not drinking enough. And maybe they're drinking things that aren't water, that just aren't going to do the job.
And if you do drink things that aren't water, equal it out with things that are, right? Yeah. They say for every cup of coffee that you drink, make sure you drink a cup of water. For every glass of wine you drink at least a glass of water, just to even that out.
Good that you got that one covered. So we're going to have to take a short commercial break. Okay, thanks for bearing with us. So we were talking about the second one is just really being mindful of what's going in so that we're feeding those little warrior cells inside, which are just your friends and they're there to protect you, giving them a fighting chance so that you can stay healthy. Mm-hmm. So that one's not that hard to do. I think that one's just
choices.
You know, when you open the refrigerator, do you ever do that? And you go scanning around and you're like, why did I open the refrigerator? I wasn't even hungry. It's just a habit, right? Here's what I like to do. I like open the refrigerator because I'm very habitual. I'll go for those cookies. You guys know about Sabrina's cookies. She got the recipe from Rita.
And everyone's making them.
Everybody's making these cookies.
Everyone on the internet is making
There are photos of like lots of cookies. So like habit, and I'm like, wait, I've got to really check in for a minute and go, do I really need this cookie?
Cookies.
And my mind says, yes, you do. You need the cookie. And then I check again. Do you maybe need carrots instead? No, I only need
or do I need 3 cookies or maybe just 2?
As I grab a handful of cookies, then I try to, but do you really need 4 cookies? Yes, I do. And I put them back, and I either get a different snack or I get the cookie. So, but it's a choice, right? It's just being conscious. Just really listening to what the body needs. Okay. The other ones, you nailed it. It's movement. Getting enough movement. And that's what I love about that move that you do.
Yep.
That tightening and releasing. There's a couple of Qigong moves that we'd like to show you today that help put you in the space for rejuvenating your energy while you sleep. So here's the framework. At night, the first thing you want to do, there's 3 steps, is you want to cleanse your body. And the movement that Sabrina did is a way to start that cleansing process. Squeeze, release, get the circulation, get the stress off. Mm-hmm. The second step is to calm your nervous system. So I would say do some super gentle flowing moves. We're going to do one in a minute together. And the third phase is to accumulate. And we opened up today's show with the analogy of a phone, right? And we talked about how important it is to recharge the device. Mm-hmm. But also it's important to turn it off sometimes, right? Sometimes we never turn the phones off.
Yep.
And give them that reboot. The turning off is when you are so sound in sleep that you go into what's called the delta brainwave frequency. That's where real deep sleep takes place. That's pushing the off button. Because sometimes people sleep pretty lightly. That's like the phone's still on.
Yeah.
Yes, you're getting a trickle charge, but it is not the same as plugging in and turning off. So what I'm going to show you...
So next time your phone's acting weird and you go to the store, you can say, could you check, I think my phone is suffering from a trickle charge.
Yes. You've got... There's another thing interesting about phones. If you don't turn them off and reset them, things start going slow.
Yep, when you travel,
yeah,
in particular.
Well, that's happening in your brain too, is your brain's never getting that reboot.
Yep.
So the tools that I'm going to show you today are going to get your energy flowing. You've already done some cleansing. We're going to calm, and then we're going to set ourselves up to accumulate, which is what happens to the phone when it's plugged in and you actually go to sleep. Don't go to sleep yet. Okay, so here's the first thing you can do to calm. I like to call this flow down. And some of you know this already. The simplest version of this is taken right from Tai Chi. And I can show you from sitting. You can do it standing as well. But watch, my arms are down by my side here. They're like
Maybe
here.
Step back.
It will be blurry. But
it's okay.
It's okay. I'm going to be blurry for a minute, but you'll see the technique.
Or pink. We're not sure.
We
It's
don't
either
know
going
what's
to be
gonna
blurry
happen.
or pink.
All right, so I'm blurry man. Your feet are about as wide as your shoulders, and just watch. Breathe in, let your arms float up, and then let your arms float down, just like that, okay?
Did that help?
So, I'm actually going to do it right in here. You guys will see some of this. So, I'm just bend down for you. So, breathe in, pull your hands in a little, and now just relax your fingers and breathe out. Now in your brain, say flow,
flow,
down.
Down.
So you saw what I'm doing with my whole body. I'm going to do it closer sitting. Okay, so you guys can do this in your chairs as well. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's do one more.
Do it.
Breathe in, flow. Smile. Down. Now just take a moment. We've been working on other techniques each week, and one that we've worked on is a deep belly breath, the diaphragmatic breath. Check your breath right now. How does it feel? Are you drawing the breath down into the tummy? Okay, try it. And release. And then recently we taught you a breath that comes up higher, which is reverse breathing. We're not going to do that right now, but just reminding you that that's another breath you can practice. Now do that deep breath with the arms. So last time, breathing in, into your tummy. And now breathe out. Now here's something you can do on the exhale to add to that cleansing and calming, those two steps. When you breathe out, make a little sound, and attach to that sound any stress, fear, worry, uncertainty, anything that you've been feeling inside, stagnant energy. Breathe it out, hear it leaving you, and visualize it as like black or gray smoke. Do you guys remember that movie?
Was Green Mile?
The Green Mile. Look, I got, and all the flies would come out. So you're breathing out. You're doing your Miracle Mile technique.
Hanks in it?
I don't think so. No. Anyway, you do that with the slow down or the flow down, and you make that sound. Now, you can probably feel that that's put you in a nice calm state of mind, right? Here's the next thing you do. These are called hookups. Your energy system has pathways that the energy flows through your body, through your limbs, through your core, through the brain itself. It moves in certain patterns and directions. And within those channels of your body that are known as meridian channels, there are also places that the energy commingles in these centers. One here, the power center, one here in the heart center, and one here in the wisdom center. And sometimes the mind and the body get really disconnected. And so we've been thinking a lot, I don't know, worrying, maybe just working really hard, that kind of hustle grind thing that goes on, and we've lost the connection with the body breath. Right? That's why it feels so good to reconnect to your breath. But this is going to help like a conduit. We're going to put a hand around the power center, and another hand is going to connect to the wisdom center, and we're going to do the breathing while we hook up our system, our brain body. What this is like plugging in the cable into the phone, so that after we have done this technique, when we lay down to go to sleep, we actually accumulate, we actually recharge, and give those warriors, those little fighters for us inside, we give them all this incredible like electrical energy. Okay? All right, so here's how you do it. You put one hand right in front of your belly button, and look, there's a little space here in the center of your palm, faces it like where your belly button is. Okay, so that's number one. And the second one, you're going to put right above your head. There's where the baby has that little soft spot, the crown. I'm so little baby. You put the center of your palm. Mama, can I have some juice, please? Okay.
Juice, please.
Juice,
can I have some juice,
Mom?
Mom? Hey, Mom. Can I have some juice?
Okay. Put your hand right here at the top of your head. Did I tell you Qigong makes you crazy? Okay, so one here, one here. Now look at the arms. They're making. You see this little symbol right here? Wait, up here. See that? Wait, let me come back a little bit. See that little symbol in the middle? Look, you're making that symbol with your arms. Okay? So you put it right above your head and right here. Okay, you got that? So this is hookup number one. Now, hold the hands there.
For a hookup.
This is where you hook it up. So now, do your breathing technique. Breathe in. Close your eyes. Try this. Breathe out. I'm not looking. Do it one more time. Breathe in. Just listen for the energy that's happening right now, the hookup. You're connecting the mind and the body.
His lower
through
hand
the breath.
Isn't touching his body. It's floating in front of where his belly would be if he ate the 4 cookies every time he wants to.
Now, watch what we're going to do.
Which would be fine too.
You can go like this, slowly, and just switch. You got to do left and right sides. Ambidextrous here. Breathe in. Breathe out, calm, relax.
You doing it?
One more time.
They're not chatting.
That's okay, because they're practicing.
Okay.
Come on, man. Now, I want you to do the last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, bring your hands together in the middle, like you have an energy ball, and turn. Now you're connecting the head and the body with the heart, with the spirit. So they just come together. You just put your hands right here, and you actually touch. Take your hands that are filled with energy and touch them to your heart center. Just feel that. It's a prayer posture. And connect to love, to the divine, to God force, to all that is good, to white light, to purity, to innocence, anything that you know when you're in that vibration and you go to sleep and you're protected by your source, by your creator, by that love, by that light. You're going to sleep in that light. I'm going to give you one last thing to do. You could have done that movement laying in bed as well, but sitting. You go say your prayer. Thank for everything that you have. Be grateful. Lie down, and when you lay in bed, I like to feel as if I'm laying in a river of love.
On your back.
On my back. Just for a little while. Sometimes I'll put my feet together and my knees open to stretch my hips. But I'm just laying in this river of love. I just did the hookup. I flowed down. I slowed down. I'm in my breath. I'm putting my system, my energy, it's plugged in, and I'm putting my brain in the state that it can go into deep delta. Because that's where you're really going to boost your immune system. Studies have shown when people do not sleep deeply, they are more susceptible to viruses and bacteria. Okay,
even if they've had the vaccine.
Yeah.
For like
it becomes less effective.
They say it's less effective if they're not sleeping well.
So we're not going to be in worry about that. We're going to be in, oh my gosh, I just aligned with this most incredible force, source force. And then as you lie in bed and you're in this river, it's washing you clean. You cleansed, you calmed, and you're just accumulating, and you're filling up. So you lay the phone down, right? And you plug the phone in, and that current goes flowing into the phone and charges the battery. You are laying, and you are plugged in. This is where your plug is, okay? And you just invite that current to charge you back up. When you wake up in the morning, oh my gosh, you're going to feel so rested and so much stronger. That's the power of sleep. I sometimes call it sleep gong. It's gong means work. It's how you work with your sleep. Sleep is a type of energy work.
And then when you wake up and you are completely rested and you can move into your morning routines, they're even more powerful because it raises the bar, right? A lot of times in the morning people feel like, oh, I just got to wake up. I got this like sleepy hangover. So it's almost like going from a big debt in your account just to get back to level.
How do you guys feel right now? I see some people say they're excited to try this tonight.
Maybe they're asleep.
Did you fall asleep? If you do this before bed tonight, just notice how you feel tomorrow. And if you have a great result, let us know. But remember these simple steps, the squirrel and the breathing and shake it out. Remember what you're putting in. It's important. It makes a difference, foods and liquids. And then try this hookup. You're hooking up with yourself. You're hooking up with the divine. And it is one heck of a hookup. Speaking of hookups, there's something that Sabrina and I do at night that is really very beautiful.
You can't talk about that. No.
It's not that. You stop it. It's called circling, and Sabrina's going to take a moment to explain it to you guys. But I just want to read before she does, just a little bit of feedback here. Beth says, love the connection between the mind and body and the joining of the energy in the heart space. Isn't that beautiful? That feels so good. And Vera says, after doing the deep belly breathing, my chi kicked into high gear and I could feel tingling on the top of my head. And when I put my hands together, I really felt the chi.
Awesome.
I love it. Yeah. June says, I'm definitely doing this tonight.
Great.
And Vera said,
and if you haven't heard, if you don't have a copy of Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong because of everything that's going on right now, we are offering it this week for 70% off. We actually, when it was 50% off, we said it would never be lower, but we feel like this is like crucial to get this out to people who need it. And it will give you something to do every morning and every evening. And once you learn it, it's just 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. And you can read all about it. The coupon code to get the 70%
here's
off
where
is
you go to get it.
Be Well.
I put Tanya's up here.
People love this program. I'm sure it's all over the page. We get thank you emails daily from people using this program, especially recently. A lot of people who had stopped their daily practice have gotten back into it.
Look at this.
It's super simple. If you know someone, even if they're like in a chair or they have limited mobility, it's not like yoga. It's not twisty twirly. It doesn't take a lot of coordination. It's something almost everyone can do.
I just have to point this out real quick because I'm just so blown away. Tanya said, I had excruciating pain in my head and neck. It's practically gone.
Wow.
And I had it with me all day. So thank you for sharing that, because that's just one technique. That's just one technique in the Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong program that we taught. Well, I actually taught you two, because I taught you the basics of flow down. There's over 20 different exercises in this program for the morning, which we didn't even talk about, how you awaken and then build and then store the chi so those fighters can be like, they're going to take care of business. And then what we just gave you a taste of what happens at night. And yes, Sabrina, you mentioned the coupon code is Be Well. It's on the page right now. If you guys want this program, it's a great time to
like if you want it for yourself and you wanted to say give a copy to someone else, when you're going through checkout, like you put in your payment information, it'll say, do you want a hard copy DVD set added to it? Some people are doing that, and then they're sharing the DVDs with people who still have DVD players and keeping the digital version for themselves. We just made a lot of the DVD versions because we find that certain people are still really comfortable consuming programs in that way.
Watch it on your big TV.
Yeah.
If you don't know all that technical hookup stuff.
Okay, so circling.
Circling.
I guess I just made the word up.
Yeah, you did. One day you said, let's circle.
We were talking about how hugging, embracing, there's that energetic exchange. Long story short, Trisbrina is the name of the energies that happen when Tristan and Sabrina's energies commingle. It's its own entity. And the reason that we like to be physically close is we are both in love with Trisbrina. It's not me with Tristan, Tristan with me. It's that we love what happens when those energies connect. And that's why with certain people, you like to be close to them. You like to touch them. It feels really good because the energy is powerful when you're really close. And that's why we were saying like cuddling with someone that you love. There's this, it's a commingling of the energies. It's actually really, really healing, especially when you put intention behind it, because everything is intention. So what I do every morning is I set my alarm 10 to 20 minutes before I need to get out of bed. And that is so that I can have time to circle with Tristan. Now, why is that? Well, for one, it really helps balance me just to have that as like the first thing I do in the day. I think it's amazing for the relationship, and he really needs it. Yeah.
I do. I need to be circled.
No. So what I do is I touch in two places. I like it to be a foot and maybe a hand. Today he had his arm up here, so I just like, here, honey, just put your head there, and I touched his foot. And I like to touch in two places, and as I breathe, I feel the commingling of this beautiful circling of energy that's washing us both clean. Not that we're taking any negativity from each other, not that one is healing the other. It's just in union, in service of source and love. Let us begin our day in this circling of consciousness, two people devoted to highest source work. And that just feels really, really beautiful. And then I wasn't sleeping with Tristan this summer. He made me mad. No, I'm kidding. I was traveling.
What did I do this time?
I know, I was away. And so I actually just put both of my hands on my belly and laid on my back first thing in the morning. And I actually just sort of self-circled. And it was just a moment.
You're such a self-circle.
But with the hands on my belly and just breathing and feeling union with all that is in this beautiful cleansing, I devote my life to being in this circle of consciousness today before a foot hits the floor, before I pet the dogs, before any words are spoken, that those are my first thoughts of the day. And I set the alarm, and my snooze is for 10 minutes. I snooze, and sometimes I do it twice. I'll do it just by myself and then with Tristan. And that feels very calming. And then from there, I can enter into the day and do the morning practice with great clean energy. But that mental intention, and when I was talking earlier about the anxiety, I will even circle in the middle of the night if I have carried away thoughts, because it gives me a place to focus and just circle in gratitude. I think gratitude is the fastest way to wash away runaway thoughts.
And it's sort of like the hookup we were just doing, where one hand was here and the other hand was here. Mm-hmm. That's the person who, like B just said, I tried this the other day with my daughter, right? Someone who's close to you, someone who is a part of your journey, someone who's a big part of your life, that you take naps with, that you sleep with, right? And so
your kids.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You are like hooking up together, and not like that. Okay, and that's such a funny word, but you're connecting the energies, you're aligning the flow. Okay, this is why it feels good to, when you hug people, we don't just hug with one arm, right? We circle. We want this one connection. We want the two connection. So you want to feel that there's two limbs, like Sabrina's saying. So a foot and a hand works really nice. Mm-hmm. Now, it can be 2 feet and 2 hands. That's okay. You can go all in. Go all in. It's fine. But to have this work, just the one hand and the foot, it could be a knee. Just create those connecting ground. It's grounding.
It's very grounding. If you're feeling like angst in your body and there's somebody else there, you can sort of like, I'm always like, Tristan, put your hand on my back, because within 1 minute, I'm grounded.
If you're a body worker, you know this already. When you put your hands on somebody, you don't do one hand. You always have the other hand on them while you're working. Or if you're an energy worker, you're sending energy through one to the other, and you're grounding your legs on the earth. But in this case, you're on the bed. So you want to ground a foot and ground a hand. Okay? And it's
so much more powerful than you can imagine when you do it consistently.
Exactly, Joanna. It's a circuitry, and you're completing it, because you're using each other to boost the signal between the two of you. Plus, when we live with others, it synchronizes us. It's sort of like you have 2 watches and you're synchronizing your clocks. You're synchronizing your energy rhythms together. It creates more harmony, more connection, more love, more understanding when you do this type of thing. This is why, one of the reasons we are so connected is because, look, right now, it's only one hand to one hand. We've got to connect a foot or leg or something, but it needs to be, in this case, it would have to be flesh. So I don't know if you guys can see this. We've got my hairy legs connecting to her foot. Okay, there's skin on skin. Okay, but without that connection, it won't work. There you go. So she's completing the circuit now. Go ahead, do it again. Don't pinch me. Notice the flow changes. Okay, so there's an energy circuitry between humans.
It's amazing.
Right? So try that and notice your connection is going to shift. You know, when some people say, well, we sleep in separate bedrooms or whatever, I understand the reasons for that, maybe snoring, whatever. But take some time to circle on the couch or, you know, just give it a go. Let us know.
I saw, Sarah, that's funny that you'd like to do that with your cat.
Yeah.
Animals do, they love to be close to the energy.
Yeah.
Ours definitely do. Just they always want to be close and next to.
It doesn't accelerate it as much as it calms it and connects it. It like completes the circle. It completes the circuitry. Now, that's just something we wanted to share with you guys. That's not part of the Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong program. But if you did want to get a copy there, I want to take a moment to let you know about something really cool that comes with that training that people may not know. And you can read about it on the page from the link that I just gave you, but there's a lot of information on that page. We actually, we work with our students closely, whether they're in our ongoing classes or if they own, like in this case, a home study course. Everyone gets invited into a private Facebook group where we're available to them to answer questions because questions come up. I mean, really, you have two ways of going about taking care of your energy and boosting your immune system. You do it on your own, which is great, and some people are just really disciplined and they're really good at taking care of themselves. But just like myself, today I was in a training and I got so many great ideas for the teacher and the other students, and I was like, I'm so glad I enrolled in this training because I forget to do stuff, right? And so by being part of a community and having coaches and people who can remind you, or you can ask questions, it helps you get better results. So if you think that you want to go deeper into your energy art, your energy work, that comes with this training. So that's a really cool reason to do the package.
Yeah.
And then there's some really cool bonuses in there. One of them is about herbs. And maybe we're not going to herb stores and stuff right now, but we can still order things online. And there are herbs that you can take that will boost your immune system. So there's a whole herbal, one of our friends, his company, he had his team make this just for us. And it's a list of all these really cool Chinese herbs that they researched for us that help boost qi, boost energy. So that's part of the program. And there's another thing that helps with your mind. And that's really important. We talked about that. Our friend Natalie Ledwell at My Movies gave us these pre-made, I think it the pre-mades, or did she give us the trainings with Bob Proctor? She gave us some cool trainings that are part of this. So I'm not sure if it's the pre-made My Movies or if it's the trainings with her and John Asraf and Bob Proctor.
What I love about this particular program is the simplicity of the layout. That if you're brand new to Qigong, you're brand new to energy work, or you're sharing it with someone that's brand new, it really speaks about it in a way that deals with the science behind it, how good it is for you physically, how good it is for you mentally. Everything is explained in ways that aren't like faith-based, and that the structure of it is so easy to digest and go through from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4. Also included is an audio, so that once you learn it, you don't have to watch anymore. You can just take the audio somewhere and be guided through it.
There's the coupon code. You've got to put the coupon code in.
Oh, I'll tell a story.
The Be Well?
No.
Which story? Oh, the good.
Well, just the.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, we were at the Grove, and a lot of you have been, when you visited us in Austin, have been to the Grove. It's a wine bar, pizza bar that we haven't been to in a long time.
Yeah.
And
I'm giving you you have your own spot over there.
I was like, you don't want a circle.
We have our own. We're
Look,
on our own Tonight Show. You know, like everybody.
Look, hold it.
Everybody has their everybody has their own. Oh, we're circling behind it. They have their own like shows.
That's funny. So we So we were at the Grove and we were talking about. It was actually Rita, my mom, that's on this call. She really loved. What was it called? AM PM yoga. When I was a little girl, she had this old VHS tape of real basic things that she would watch. And we were talking about how it would be awesome for people to have something simple that wasn't like, so it was more about energy than about stretching. And we're saying good morning, good evening, Qigong. And on a napkin, we kind of drew that,
she did.
That sun and that moon. And I drew it on a diagonal, and then we had an artist make it. But it's so cool to see, when you look at something and it's finished, it's like, ooh, it's all fancy. But when you've been a part of that idea, right? Growth, if you've written a song or you've choreographed a movement or maybe you've made a meal, right? It's like it looks so good on the table, but you know what it looked like when it was just a bunch of ingredients.
Well, what's cool about that design is that we called our friend Joe Vitale, and he had all these amazing courses that he had made, right? DVDs, and we asked him, like, who makes those covers, that beautiful art for you? And so I'm actually going to drop a name here. I don't know if he still does designs, but he said, you've got to call this guy Ted Angel. And Ted Angel made that's just one variation.
He gave us like, 4 variations? He was amazing.
Yep. He made these incredible covers for the DVDs, for the cases, for the books, and all this stuff. And that was just our humble beginnings of creating these courses. So thanks, Dr. Joe Vitale.
A lot of you that are here live, I know that you've practiced good morning, good evening Qigong. The flow form Qigong, which we certify people in right now, is a little bit, it's more, I think it has a little bit more coordination, and I feel like this is my opinion, like good morning, good evening Qigong is just like, hey, I can do this myself at home. It's in the morning and at night, where the flow form is, there's so many variations to it because of the circulars and the stretches and the coordination, which are a lot more physically challenging.
Yeah. So we decided to do a super sale on that, so that's why it's 70% off right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy times, and we just know how important it is to keep our immune systems healthy. So we want to extend that offer to anyone who wants that. So please enjoy it. Here's the link one more time before we say goodbye, because we're going to dance this out.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we going to dance to?
It's the Facebook song.
This feels good. You guys ready? Thank you, everybody.
Is that you dancing?
This is me dancing it out. It's a neck dance. Gonna circle tonight. Try the flow down. Do the hookups. Lay in that love. Let the love flow through you, to you, and through you. Have an amazing sleep. You're gonna sleep so good tonight.
And
do some circling. Much love, everyone. Thank you. See you all soon. Bye.